off as quickly as possible. But, I just wanted to bring a lot of energy. My guys know what to expect from me, and just trying to be a leader on the court and just show up in ways that, just show up in ways that contributes to winning at all costs. So I just try to do that.
What was the
Jalen,
difference?
how does the shoulder feel?
The shoulder feels amazing. It's the best it can be. It's that's all I can really say. Is it feels the best it can be right now.
Are you pretty confident with it? Are you pretty confident with that shoulder going out there?
Yeah, I'm not gonna go out there unless I do feel confident. So, if I'm out there, that means I feel pretty good.
How bad did you guys need a win like this?
What's the worst possible way of needing a win? I mean, we absolutely needed this tonight, just to show that our guys that we have the fight in us, that we're capable of doing this. It's been rocky and hard for us so far on this journey, but just showing these guys that we can show up and do it in every aspect tonight is huge for us.
What was the difference in that first half?
Go ahead, Preston. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt.
What was the difference? What was in the locker room? The difference from that first half to that second half? And guess you guys going that road.
I think just in our attention to details, we figured out what we liked and what we didn't like at halftime. I think we did an amazing job of actually executing that in the second half. And guys like Mo and BG, they did tremendous things for us tonight, and I'm super proud and happy for those guys.
How big of a boost did Mo give you guys?
It was huge. I mean, we missed that guy so much. I don't know if y'all could tell by the way he played out there, but we missed him greatly. I'm happy that he's back. We've been sidelined together a little bit as well too. So, just hearing his pain of just not being out there with the guys, but then him showing up today in every way that he could. Happy birthday, Mo, and I'm glad that he was able to get a good double-double for us tonight. 5 steals. I mean, he really set the tone for us in every aspect.
Pope said that you guys are a team that might have to win some ugly games like this. How much can you guys embrace that kind of winning?
I mean, I don't know about these guys. Well, actually, I know about these guys. Any way we can get a win, we'll take it, no matter what. If it's ugly, it's ugly. At the end of the day, all we're trying to do is win. So that's it.
He talked a little bit about you guys are not a confident offensive team right now. He can just tell. What is missing on that end, and what needs to grow for you guys?
I think just having a good idea of knowing what kind of shots we're going to get day in and day out, and just continuing to build on that. I feel like once we get comfortable with the flow, of actually having everybody back, it's kind of hard when you have guys in and out, injuries and things like that. So, once everybody starts clicking together and playing together, then I feel like it's going to fall into place.
How much do you feel like your effort just went into this game? Obviously, in a game where offensively it wasn't the prettiest, but effort certainly gave you guys this win.
I mean, effort was everything for us tonight. Without effort, I wouldn't say that we won, but it was just our effort that made us win tonight. Whether it was offensive rebounds or just getting stops on big players on the defensive end, or even offensive rebounding. I feel like that was just the motto for the game today, was just to give our effort.
How do you talk about your guys' game plan on Wilkerson out there? I mean, he got him in foul trouble fairly early. How key was that to pulling this one out as well?
I mean, that was huge. I mean, Lamar's a great player. I think everybody saw what he did the other night. We was all amazed. Just doing that, just an outstanding scorer. But, just going to this game, we just kind of honed in. It's just guys stepping up to the challenge to guard him. And, that's what we came to play for, play against the best players, and all props to him. He took a toll on us tonight, but, just stepping up and, guarding that guy with everything we got was great for us.
How beneficial will it be to have a full week before your next game?
I think it'll be really, really beneficial. I think we're all looking forward to, just getting our minds right and, knowing what it takes to win now. So I think this week will be huge for us and just preparing for, going forward of how it feels to win now against a good team, just carrying that forward.
Jaland, what did you think of BG's contributions tonight, especially his response after what happened in the game Tuesday and just his playing that kind of 17-2 run there?
I mean, I'm so proud of BG, man. To be able to respond to, what happened last game and play the way he played tonight is everything. That's the definition of I guess what we stand for and what we play for, just how you respond. And he's a guy that I see coming every single day with a smile on his face no matter what. And he's super confident in what he does. And he brings a lot of energy and joy, and that spills out onto the court with how hard he plays. You know, he plays for a lot more than just, you know, us. He's got a son that he's got to take care of. So, you know, with him dealing with everything that goes on around him, for him to still show up for us every day and give us 1,000%, we couldn't ask for anything more from him.
I'm sure you guys would have liked to put up 100, hit 23s maybe, but did it mean a little something extra to win a game just as gritty as you did in the second half?
Yeah, I think it was more important for us to win a game like this, because teams don't want to see us when we do hit shots. Because, you know, if we rely on this as our standard day in and day out, then we'll be just fine.
Take me through your mind when you, in the first half, you go diving, rolling for that loose ball up against the broadcast table.
You know, my trainer would probably advise me to not do that again. But, you know, I think it was like a tone setter. I just wanted to show these guys that I'm all in, and plus I was a little smart with it. I think it's my left arm. I got a little scrape on my back to make sure of that. But, you know, I think just send the tone for the guys, like, I'm all in. Like, I'm going to dive on this floor. I'm going to play just as hard as everybody else, no matter what tonight. Now I'm always trying to be smart. But, you know, I had to make sure that my guys knew.
Are you having to play any different with that right shoulder? It seems like, especially in the first half, especially, they were kind of maybe running some screens, maybe trying to run you into that shoulder a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I know what's going to come with it. I know teams are going to set screens on my right side. Might play a little dirty, try and pull whatever, but you know, it's just a little different. It's hard to play, a little bit harder to play with a brace like that. It's really restricting. You know, you don't want to allow too much motion in your arm like that or whatever. So, you know, it's very different. I gotta get used to it. But you know, at the end of the day, I'm a basketball player and I gotta go out there and play basketball to the best of my ability. And I know I can still play at a very high level, no matter what's going on.
Jaland, it felt like this team played with a different swagger tonight. Like, you're hitting tough layups and flexing, Mo's flexing. Is that something that felt different, especially in the end of that second half as well?
Yeah, I mean, that's just the energy that we need day in and day out, and everybody feeds off of that. I mean, Rupp Arena was great for us tonight. You know, the fans were amazing, but, you know, just internally, guys being positive and motivating, you know, flexing and having fun with it, it brings a sense of joy and, you know, comfortability out on the court, just to know that, you know, we're all in this together, and we're going to keep fighting together.
Jaland, you and Mo both really brought it tonight. So is it Mo and Lowe or Lowe and Mo?
Mo and Lowe. I'll go with Mo and Lowe.
Is it how contagious is when Mo is just grabbing those offensive rebounds, getting putbacks? Even if he doesn't get a stat, anything in the box score, if he's just knocking somebody over, how contagious is
Mo's a big bully, man. We need a big bully on our team. He's tremendous for what we preach every single day and how we want to play. And it greatly showed tonight with just him, you know, offensive rebounds, defensive, you know, 5 steals, and even, you know, everything in between those lines Mo does at a very high level. And, you know, he prides himself on that every day. So that feeds off onto everybody else. It fed off to me. I wanted to play even harder defense. I wanted to get a couple rebounds in there just because he was fighting in there. Spread off to BG. BG was fighting, guarding multiple positions, doing everything he could to, you know, be there for us. And it just spread all throughout the team, no matter who came in at what time. It set the tone for everybody.
Jaland, you feel like you had offended?
Last game was a turn of events, and Mark talked about, for you personally, Mark talked about how well you responded. Even just said his mom should be proud, his son should be proud, his inner circle. Can you just talk about the mindset change that you had after the turn of events Tuesday night?
Yeah, you know, it's just a part of basketball. I had a little mistake, you know, but I feel like I handled it the right way. I ain't let it bring me down. And came out and responded well. Yeah, big time win.
How fun was it tonight hearing the BBN get behind you as you kind of helped bring a spark in the game when you needed it?
Yeah, you know, BBN's always there, you know, for us. I feel like the arena was electric tonight, you know, loud. But, you know, they always show out for us, so we just get this win for them.
What thoughts were going through your head through all of that? You know, the adversity then coming out tonight. What's been going on internally through that time?
Wait, can you repeat that?
What's been, like, you know, getting benched in the second half, coming out playing great night? What's been going on in your head personally when you're alone in your thoughts?
Yeah, just, you know, next play mentality. I try not to, you know, just, you know, stay on that topic. You know, I feel like if you have a positive mindset, good things like this happen. So.
Did you have a favorite moment in that stretch in the 17-2 run, the block, the steal, the fighting for an offensive rebound?
I'll say the offensive rebound, just because like all our guys was climbing over each other back, for the offensive rebound. We came out with a big bucket. So
How much of a chip on your shoulder do you guys have about that? I mean, there's been a lot of talk about offensive rebounds, second chance points, and not being there against a good team so far this season.
Yeah, our coaches, told us about that. Like we call it wedging, which is getting offensive rebounds, and I feel like we took a big step in that direction today, and we scored a lot of points off of our offensive rebounds.
There's been a lot of talk about, does this team mesh? Do they have chemistry? Do they get along off the court? And Ortega said, hey, we just got to figure this out on the court. We're as close as anybody. And when you guys went on that run tonight, it seemed like the bench, the team, everybody was just so excited for each other. How close is this team getting as you're overcoming in person?
Yeah, like you said, like, believe it or not, off the court, we we've been knew each other, but it's a lot of outside noise, just trying to say that we bump heads a lot. But ever since we got here summer, like it's been no problem, like serious talk. But I just feel like we just gotta get our groove. We all knew. I'm not gonna say it's an excuse, but I feel like it's coming slowly.
Last season it was a lot of finesse, a lot of passing, a lot of three-point shooting. The second half tonight was not that. Do you like playing that style that second half turned into?
I say I would, but it would be nice, to make some threes. But I feel like we just went out there, and did what it took. Our threes wasn't falling, so we was getting offensive rebounds, driving them into Indiana players, getting them in foul trouble, and that's how we came out with big time win.
What was different about that tonight? Because that's the kind of stuff I feel like Coach Pope has been asking you guys to do.
Yeah, I just feel like we just laid it out tonight. Like we needed this win. We wasn't gonna lose on our home court. It's a rivalry that came back. We want to be 1-0 versus them, so we did it tonight.
Is that a lesson learned for moving forward, that maybe every night needs to be like that?
Yeah, for sure. It's gonna be some adversity, but just if we play like that every night, I feel like we'll be the best team in the country. So.
How hard is it for you personally to kind of keep the outside noise?
Yeah, I try not to, look at it so much, I got off social media a little bit, they was on all of it. So I ain't really want to see it, because it could mess up your head a little bit, but I try not, to worry about them, people have stuff to say. They don't know what we go through, in practice and stuff, but just go out there, do what I do and not worry about the outside noise.
Pope said that you led the team in sprints this week and just kind of a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff that you really wanted to emerge and say, hey, like I can respond. Why was that?
Yeah, just like I said, they don't know what we go through in, practice, but just, you gonna have a bad game, but, you just got to continue, making every sprint, going hard. Don't let the bad game affect you, and, good things happen down the line like this.
How do you find it within yourself to kind of pull those bright moments out when it feels like, you got benched and Malachi's starting like this? How do you find that within yourself?
Yeah, I feel like my mother helps me out with that a lot. She always encouraging me. If I have problems, I'll talk to her. She just been my light. Ever since stuff been happening. But I give her all the kudos. She just been helping me through this all. So I say my mom.
Did you ever lose faith that this was possible?
Nah, I wouldn't. Even though people were saying like I did. I just went in practice. Kept control what I control, like I said, and good things happen like this. So.
Could you feel the energy kind of coming from the crowd when you would make a big hustle play or toughness play?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like, they love defense, so I feel like we buy in on the defensive end, the blocks and steals, the hustle plays, they love that. So, just doing all the hustle plays, you will get the crowd in there for sure.
How much of all of that, Brandon, is a learning experience for you to go through? I mean, sometimes you got to go through the lows to get to the highs.
Yeah, for sure. You go hit rock bottom, like you said. It's just how you respond from that, and that's going into practice. Just continue doing you. Not listen to people that's telling you what you want to hear. Like Coach always tells us, we bump heads and stuff, but I still got to listen to him because he's my coach, and just continue what I'm doing, like practicing hard. Working out still, lifting, conditioning, all that, and it'll pay off for it.
How bad did you guys just need a win?
Yeah, we needed it bad, very, especially against a quad one opponent, I say so. We dug it out today and got it done.
Thank you. I'm sure you already touched on this. Mo was talking about a little how you guys complement each other on the court in terms of energy. Can you kind of just touch on that and, knowing how important you guys are in terms of energy together?
Yeah, I feel like this team, you know, when we all, you know, bring energy, this is a special team, you know, including me, you know, and the guys that was on the floor today. But, you know, just continue, you know, building off what we did today. You know, we still got a lot of room to grow, you know, so just, you know, once we hit practice Monday, you know, continue doing what we doing, fighting.
How much were you guys just looking forward to having Jaland back, having Mo back, and then looking forward to having Jaden on the floor with you soon?
Yeah, you know, it's great. For the first time, like, okay, I think it was 2 days ago, yesterday or whatever, but we had the full team practicing, you know, even JQ, you know, he been grinding, you know, it's a special piece when you get back. Mo been out, Jaland Lowe, but we was all, you know, banging, and, you know, I feel like that practice was special, you know, just seeing, you know, what we can do when we all, you know, come together. So slowly but sure, you know, people go feel it soon.
Was there something about just like, hey, just let's just try to get by as long as we can until we could get the full product, and it's like, all right, now it's the real us?
I mean, I wouldn't say we was thinking like that, but you know, when the man go down, you know, next man got to step up, you know, and I feel like the games we came up short, I feel like we gave it our all and stuff, but, you know, just knowing that everybody's back, you know, you can just tell it's brightening up in the, you know, locker room. So.
What did this game teach you about effort and how far it can take you guys, even when the offense doesn't look as pretty as you guys would like it to?
Yeah, effort always take you far, you know, just playing hard, you know, we beat talent, I'll say. So I feel like we just went out there, you know, did all the dirty work, I'll say, and, you know, and that helped us get this big time win.
You probably haven't seen it, but your dunk's kind of going viral a little bit. Walk me through the lob.
Yeah, my guy was taking, you know, set a big time screen, you know, that's what happened when you screen. He just threw it up and I went to go get it, so.
Mo, how did it feel to be back? You seem like you've never left, added quite the spark, especially in that second half.
It feels great to be back, man. It's nothing like playing with my brothers every night. You know, I know I'm the energy guy on the team, so, you know, it feels good to, like, have some joy after a game, and, you know, we're just going to keep doing that.
What was it like the last almost month now, just having to kind of sit and watch?
It sucked. I'm not going to lie. Every day sucked. Just doing rehab, trying to get better. You know, it was games where we lost where I felt like I could have been an impact, you know, and to where the results would have been different. But, you know, couldn't really do anything about it. But, you know, now I'm back. You know, I just hope to keep the same momentum going forward.
You mentioned that role of kind of being the energizer of the team. When did you kind of realize that was so key for you in this machine?
Like I always like had that to my game, you know, just bringing energy. No matter where I played, I always had that spark to me. And, you know, once I committed here, I know that's one of the things I was going to be bringing to this team was the energy. And, you know, I just try to make it contagious. Like, as you seen today, it was very contagious, you know, to where everyone started playing to that standard. And, you know, so we just going to keep doing that moving forward.
Well, the three ball wasn't really falling for you guys tonight. It seemed like at times you shifted more to that down-low game. You were able to get some offensive boards. At what point were you just like, yeah, this is going to be my game tonight?
It's my birthday, so let's just start there. That would be the worst thing to lose on my birthday. So I told myself that, I told the guys that before the game. I said, if it's anything y'all could do for me, y'all don't got to give me no gift, nothing. Just let's win the game for my birthday, you know. And we got it done.
So is every game your birthday from now on?
Every day gonna be my birthday from now on. Yes, every game day.
Did you get anything good though? Did they listen to you and not get you anything, or did they get you something?
No, they didn't give me no gifts. That's crazy, right? That's what a teammates I have. But you know, we got the win. That's all I asked for. And, you know, yeah.
Well, there were two plays at the end, and Kentucky has obviously had trouble scoring and closing out games. And then you made the steal under the Indiana basket on the inbounds play. And the next trip down, you fought for that offensive rebound and it went off Javri's leg and it went out of bounds. Two huge plays. Mm-hmm. Just kind of what were you thinking there?
Just go get the ball. I knew the offense that they were running, and you know, I knew that the ball was going there. So you know, I was just a step ahead of them, and on the deflection that I had, I was just like, we gotta turn this thing around. And you know, I just went for the steal. It was just a dribbling it. Just go get the ball every time.
How did you and BG complement each other tonight?
We both played really hard. Like we fed off each other energy. You know, he fed off my steals, my rebounds. I felt of his dunk he had, you know, his aggression he had today. It's probably the most aggressive game I've seen him play so far in my life. And you know, we just you know, we talk like, yo, this the game, bro. This the game where all the talking and all the antics is gonna stop. And you know, and we complement each other very well in those legs.
For lack of better words, he pretty much got benched at the second half of that NC Central game. Just what did you see from his response over? It's only been 3 or 4 days.
Very positive response. You know, he could have came into the game with an attitude, or you know, he could have let it allow it to affect him, but he didn't do that. You know, he used it as motivation.
Everybody's been talking about how bad you all needed this one. So just against Power 5 opponents, you guys had struggled. How do you not let this, how do you guys celebrate this, but also make sure it turns into 2, 3, and keep feeding off the momentum and not just live in tonight?
I think the team that we have right now, we're really hungry. You know, a lot of guys are like trying to compete, you know, for minutes, and you know, coach is like, if you play hard, you're gonna play the game. You're gonna play. So it's that simple. So I think we got that hunger in us after winning this game, and you know, it's gonna keep building the, you know, the momentum is just gonna keep going. You know, because we're not satisfied at all. We're not satisfied.
What difference did Jaland? That was closer to, I assume, the guy you all saw this summer. What difference did he make in the game?
We all seen it. he was really aggressive today. He got downhill. He made a lot of reads. You know, he had an offense going. You know what I'm saying? And you know, we needed a guy like that all season long. You know, and he hasn't been, you know, with us for majority of the season. So, you know, and coming in here, he was, you know, Jaland Lowe, the player he is. He still is that player. So, you know, it was just a matter of time to where, you know, he got it going.
Is it Mo and Lowe or Lowe and Mo?
Mo and Lowe. Mo and Lowe. Mo come first. Always.
Coach Pope talked about how this was a perfect game for you. It kind of felt like Kentucky, and you guys were the aggressor tonight. Just how much do you love playing these physical type of games?
I love these games. It's a challenge. I'm always up for the challenge, you know, no matter the opponent. You know, I know the kind of personnel we have, and I know that we were ready for this game. You know, when you talk about physicality, you know, I think we have that. It's just, you know, the matter of time for us using it, waking up, and you know, realizing we don't have that much time, like we said, you know, and you know, we enforced our will tonight,